What's going on, guys? So I'm back with another Sunday watch list. These past 2 weeks, we did have a lot of big earnings names. We should have a little bit better price action now that that's all over. I'm gonna be paying attention to, and we actually have some pretty solid setups. I'm gonna go over the ones that I'm watching. For the most part, I'll start off with SPY and QQ, and then we'll move on to individual tickers, right? So if I go to the weekly chart on SPY, you guys will be able to see, we got a pretty big rejection off this 458, big level from back here in April 2022. See multiple rejections off that. And this is a huge bearish engulfing candle, right? It engulfs the basically, almost two candles. It doesn't fully engulf that wick, but it fully engulfs this candle. And the next key level of structure that we are approaching is this 444 level. I've been saying we need to come back and retest this for a while now. And the reason why is because once we broke out of this level, we never got a real retest of it. As you guys can see back here in July 12th, when we broke out, we just went on a pretty strong run and just consolidated up here throughout the earnings weeks. And we never got a full retest of it. So I really want to see us get to that 444 level. It's also the weekly 9 EMA should start to move up into that area. But that is a big structure that is going to determine whether we continue to go higher or if we start going lower, right? If we break below 444, I'd like a break and retest back down to potentially like 440. That's a good level. And for potential rejects, I would like to take a bounce there though. Definitely interested in a bounce there. For potential rejects, I'll be looking at this most recent structure, which was this 448 level. You guys see we bounced there and now we're back below it. So on the hourly, we have the hourly 9. I believe we should have other confluence in there if we go from Friday's high to after market low. We do got the 382 retracement in there. So I'm going to try to continue to stack confluence there pre-market. But as of now, that's the most recent area. That's the closest rejection area that I'll be paying attention to. I'm sure that 4-hour 9 EMA should move into that area. So I'd like to take a reject off of that back down to 404. If you guys go back to Friday, you guys will see this rejection level was so perfect, right? You guys will see reject, bounce, 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 and then we come into this area Friday with the 5-minute chart. The reject there was just too perfect, right? It was a really, really clean rejection off of that area. But that's basically my game plan for right, and you guys will also see that's Friday's pre-market low. So if we come back and retest that, I'm sure this 200 simple moving average on the 5-minute chart should move into the area. I just like to stack zones with as much confluence as I can. But yeah, that's my game plan on SPY levels on SPY as well. For upside, not really interested unless we reclaim this structure 452. Qs is looking I'll be paying attention to this 371 point 8.67 level. As you guys can see, that was the recent low back here, low again over here. I want to see if we can break and retest this area. For the most part, 373 is going to be I'd like for us to stay below 373 for more downside, back down into 370. If we reclaim 373, I'll just stay super patient, but it could have run back up to these areas up here, 375, 376. Any reclaim back above those areas, that's like the bullish scenario, right? So I'll wait for that. Favorite individual setup is going to be Apple. Really, really like Apple. As you guys can see, it was one of the weakest names after their earnings. And this is, before we get into that, I want to show you guys something, right? This is a bearish divergence on SPY when the stock makes a higher high, but the RSI makes a lower high. And, that is like they usually play out and they give you solid moves, right? But going back to Apple, we gapped down pretty aggressively after that earnings move and we were pretty weak, right? So that 9 and 200 are now crossing over. This was the most recent area of structure, like this 185. You see the big rejection we have off of it. If I go to hourly time frame, you guys will see the multiple touches we have off that 185, and it's a big reject off that back over here, right? Multiple bounces off of it. So if we can pull back and look at this hourly 21 at that 185 level, if we can pull back to that 185 level to 187 level, this is going to be like my supply zone of where I would like to start adding shorts on Apple. Anything above that invalidates it, but we would have room back down to 180 and 178, 176. So, I'm looking for something like this. A pullback starts to scale in, and catch the move back down. Stop loss above that area. So that is my game plan on Apple. Other than that, if the market does get strong, this is a name that I would want to pay attention to. Amazon was the strongest name last week with their earnings, and they're pulling back to this area here, this 136, 135 area. Got the 4-hour 90 MA pull back for another push back up into 144. That's the bullish scenario if things do start to push higher. That is one that I do like for upside potential. Anything back below that 136, 135 could start shorting it back down to 132. But yeah, I think that's a solid bullish scenario. Other than that, I only really like Meta. The reason why is if I go to the daily chart, you guys will see we're approaching this daily gap fill below 309. Below 309, we have a gap fill down to 301. Usually these Meta gap fills don't fill same day, but you could get a solid move off of it. So I'd wait for a clean break and hold below 309 to see if we can catch that move back down into at least 305, right? So that is a setup I will also be paying attention to. Other than that, Tesla's looking really weak. If it gets below that 250, looks like it has nothing but room to 240s. So definitely pay attention to that. If it does start to hold this area here, right, this will be like a falling wedge, right? But I think it still needs some time to consolidate. So that's just the either or scenario. If it holds this area, it should push back higher. But if, like I said, if it breaks below this, look for a break and retest back down to 240. Other than that, that's pretty much it. Don't want to make this video too long. But yeah, other than that, we have CPI on Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, CPI on Thursday and PPI on Friday. Other than that, should be a much better price action week than these last 2 weeks we had. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the Sunday watch list, and I'll talk to you guys next week.